Welcome to the post-game pod. I am Stephen Willis on the Locked On Ole Miss podcast channel. So thanks for tuning in. The Ole Miss-Tennessee game. Ole Miss dominated again by the Tennessee Vols in an interesting game. There were a couple of bright spots in the game, but none of it involves bats. But this is the post-game pod right here. Stick around.
You are Locked On Ole Miss, your daily podcast on the Ole Miss Rebels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, welcome to Locked On Ole Miss podcast channel. We're doing the post-game pod. Tennessee, a dominant victor over Ole Miss tonight. Right now, it's currently in the 8th inning, by the way. It's 9-0. This game is over. Hunter Elliot should be commended, much like Dylan DeLucia last night in eating up innings. I think our starting pitching is about to get shaken up. This weekend has done that. My big concern from this weekend, somebody asked me, is like, what are you concerned about this weekend with what's going on? And I say that I'm most concerned that this team will lose its confidence and it will affect them next weekend. We're not going to play another Tennessee this season. We're just not. But as you saw the last two games, the confidence level of Ole Miss went down significantly. Now, part of that is the fact that Kevin Graham is not in the lineup and he is our best hitter against velocity. And that's something Tennessee starters have a lot of. We had trouble with velocity. But it kind of is what it is. And we're looking at more velocity tomorrow. They still have their flamethrower they can bring in. They can throw the ball 104 miles an hour. He's like little big league out there. But that's that. And that's really all that I can say about the Ole Miss baseball team. Ole Miss got absolutely dominated Friday. Got absolutely dominated Saturday after saying they got dominated and they were surprised on Friday for some reason. On Saturday, they get absolutely dominated and they can only hope to win a series on Sunday. The benefit is their bullpen is relatively fresh, but Tennessee's is as well. Tennessee leads the SEC in pitching and hitting, surprisingly enough, and it's just what it is. I think Ole Miss has given up 10-plus runs in 4 of 5 SEC series or something like that. They've had, like these first 2 games, 3 out of the 5 SEC games, they've had these disaster games, including a 19-5 against Auburn. And I think that needs to be taken into account. It just does. Maybe we need to adjust our expectations on this team. Nobody's saying this team is bad. But that number one besides name obviously belongs to the team on the other side of the field. I mean, honestly does. And we'll talk about them after we come back from break. But that's really the highlight that I wanted to talk about before the game, or after this game. It just is what it is. And it's upsetting and it's tiring. And some people are emotionally immature that they lash out. And some people have Mike Bianco takes. And that leads to basically a pre-programmed tweet. Now, like I said, confidence is everything in team sport. And your goal is, when you're playing team sports against somebody, is to get them playing faster than they are comfortable, because they will make mistakes. Tennessee is doing that. They put pressure on you hitting the ball. They put pressure on you in base paths. They're an excellent fielding team. And they got flamethrowers as starting weekend pitchers. It's special that they are probably, like I said, one of the best SEC teams in recent memory, and they were better than last year's Arkansas team. Arkansas might be able to call the cops and had these brief moments of dominance. Tennessee has multiple pitchers that they can put in that's pretty good. I mean, Chase Burns today, they had a good outing from their starting pitcher as well, and they didn't hit long balls. They just manufactured runs and did what they have to do. They had 15 hits. And you know, or they have 15 hits in the 8th inning. And they're up 10-0 currently. And Dollander on 3 hits. Last night, Burns and company, they gave up 4 hits. Ole Miss has 7 hits on the weekend. Tennessee has 15 tonight. So that's important to know. So after months of play, and college basketball has determined the top teams for its Final Four and will determine this year's national champion this coming week. BetOnline.net is your number one source for all your betting needs and sports information, from all the latest odds, contests, player props, you name it. BetOnline remains the best spot for all your sports developments, including podcast and reviews for all the leagues this season. And it's not just basketball. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino games. Head to the website today and use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and actions. BetOnline, where the game starts. Also, this is the time of year I've pretty much given up on all my New Year's resolutions, but not this year. This year I'm sticking to my resolution to eat right, thanks to Built Bar. It almost feels like it's not really a resolution because I actually enjoy eating them. Have you tried the Puffs? If you haven't, you're missing out on one of Built Bar's best tasting bars. Puffs are the first ever protein-infused marshmallow. They're fluffy, they're marshmallowy, they're not just a protein bar, they're a treat, and they're covered in 100% real chocolate. Mint brownie, coconut almond, and new for this month, white chocolate cookies and cream. They're all delicious, and new flavors are coming out all the time. If they think a flavor might be good, they'll make it, it'll be delicious, and it'll be good for you. At Built Bar, they're all about the taste. They make it taste delicious first, then to figure out how to make it healthy, and I don't know how they do it, but they pull it off every single time. So here's your offer. Go to Built.com. Use promo code LOCKED15 and get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. Now, this is going to be the part where I absolutely gush on Tennessee. Like I said, a lot of people look at stuff and they're emotionally mature, and, you don't want to give your opponents credit, and, you got Tennessee fans pissed off about the football game. You got Ole Miss fans pissed off about tonight. They go back and forth, and it's not really productive at all. But Tennessee is an excellent baseball team. I don't see any weaknesses. I'm interested to see what they could do. They swept South Carolina last week, who beat Texas. Took a series from Texas. They've got Vanderbilt coming up, which they'll probably be favored, and it'll be interesting. Ben Joyce is in the game. That's the 104-mile-an-hour pitcher that everybody's been waiting to see. He throws the ball ridiculously hard, and if you struggle with velocity, he's definitely the person you don't want to see. But it will be interesting to see. It's like a little big league out there. But this is an excellent baseball team, and I think, honestly, they're better than Arkansas was last year. And Arkansas was number 1 in the country all the way up until they got beaten in the regionals by NC State. And they're just a really good team. And man, he's just throwing gas. But Tennessee's a really good team. And I'm interested to see what they do after this. They have Vanderbilt next week. If Tennessee can sweep Vanderbilt as well, they have a chance to put up a really ridiculous number in the SEC. I guess that's my point. There's still a lot of a whole bunch of series left to go, and a lot of stuff can happen, but they definitely appear to be difficult to deal with moving forward. So, yeah, that's all we're going to really do for post-game pod. I have the utmost respect for Tennessee's baseball team. Honestly, they were kind of fun to watch. I like the way they play the game. Just big, strong, athletic dudes, and they go out there and play really hard and pressure you in all kinds of different ways, and they do a really good job. So this has been the post-game pod on the Locked On Ole Miss channel. We will be back tomorrow for the conclusion of the game, and we'll talk about Saturday's practice on the Locked On Ole Miss podcast Monday morning, including a player that is sticking out. And we heard from a dad of another player talking about that player sticking out. We'll talk about that Monday as well. But this has been the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you didn't, we'll try again tomorrow. So take care. Hotty toddy.